And good evening mga kalaro, and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel where Sportitos talk about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hey,
Whoa!
probably saw this coming.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Dear
Pyramids
Lord.
are batteries.
The batteries.
Yep. And
TV.
we also have with us the man with the thoughts. Let's all welcome the one and only Martin Vicencio. Martin, how are you?
I only have one reply for that.
Martin.
Just like Emily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aliens? Really? Aliens?
Okay. So, anyway, tonight the council will give our thoughts on episode 1 of season 45 entitled I Can Do Hard Things. Kind of a misnomer, but anyway, before we proceed, yeah, that's what she said. We hope that you could click on the like button so you get notified whenever we have new stuff on the channel. Subscribe to the Laro-Laro channel. Without further ado, let's get right into it with our highs. Who wants to start us off?
I want to start off by saying my first high is, I'm happy to see Bruce. Just like the last episode, I'm glad to see survivors getting a second chance. And it's nice to see Bruce getting the second chance after getting, I think, medevac in the last season. And it was just stuck there for 12 hours. And I think this is the biggest takeaway we can have for this season. Like, they have a returnee, but his advantage is just 12 hours and that's it. He got hurt. I think he's gonna have an even playing field with the rest of these guys. And I'm all for second chances, so good on you, Bruce. How about you guys?
Bruce. I'm really liking Bruce. I'm glad that he's back. You know, like he's giving like Tito vibes, you know?
Yeah. That's what he said. He's the crazy uncle.
Crazy uncle.
Yeah,
he's the Tito.
Right. But you know, like what are you doing though? He's trying to be like he's saying that he's the weird uncle, but then he's got dad vibes going on. But then in the preview for the next like episode, we get to see the weird uncle vibes.
Yeah.
So maybe we wait for that there. But like, you know, I like that he's coming out the gate saying like I want to give weird uncle crazy uncle vibes. That was something that when I was a high school teacher, they offered me an advisory class.
Okay.
That first year that I was teaching. Crazy, right? They offered me an advisory class, and I will say that I screwed that up big time. I probably like scarred quite a number of like students and messed them up for the rest of their lives. And so the second and subsequent years, they kept on asking me like, oh, would you like to do that again? And I'm like, no. And every person that would ever ask me like why, or every like student that would ever ask me why, my answer was always the same. I feel uncomfortable being like an additional parent to a bunch of students. I'd much prefer to be the weird uncle. And there is a place for that in rearing children. And in that way, I really sort of connect with Bruce, you know, like, and you know, that's quite the testament to the season, having people that you can relate to, or you know, the new era aiming for more relatable characters and not like your models, you know.
Oh yeah. They knock it out of the park with Bruce, and this is just episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce. Yeah, I like the fact that they gave him a second chance. There must be something about him that Probst really liked. That's why he cast him in 44, and now he's back in 45. Yeah, Probst doesn't really do this a lot. Like, yeah.
Apparently, he's been sort of his name has been in the hat since 41, and it wasn't until 44 that he, like, you know how that is, right? Like they take you through the entire process, and you know, maybe you're like an alternate for a previous season, or they hold off on you until they feel like they have a good cast that you know that you'll fit in with. So like Apparently, his name has been sort of around the Survivor offices since 41.
Oh, so what is the common denominator from 44 from his tribe in 44 and the tribe that he's in 45? What do you think that is?
Well, he would have probably fit in more if they were going for similar vibes. They would have put him in Lulu.
Oh yeah.
If I'm
Oh,
being
more on Lulu
honest.
later.
But then to be fair, Bello has the
The
astrologist, right?
astrologer, yeah.
Or
And
the astrologer or whatever. So like maybe that's the common denominator.
Mm.
Like you have your weird uncle and then you have your weird aunt. You know,
Oh, that evens things out. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem that a good number of the castaways for the season are larger than life. I mean, they hit the ball out of the park last season with Carolyn being
Mm.
such a larger than life character, as well as what's his name? Your winner pick, Marts?
Jam Jam.
Yeah, Jam
Jam.
Jam. Yeah, two larger than life characters that really did well for the show, and so I guess that's what they went for here. We've got a lot of these larger than life characters on the season, and some castaways who want to be larger than life, but yeah, but end up being just whiny. I'll talk about it a little bit better more later on during the lows. Yeah, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, some of the cast are pretty good, but and I think that Martin will think that one of them, probably fast becoming one of his favorites, is on this side. But yeah, anyway, let's go to that, Marts.
Okay.
Your new favorite.
Oh well, I wanted to reserve that for the lows, but are
Oh,
you
she's
sure
a
we
low
can-
on you. I thought that she was a
Yeah, yeah.
high.
Well,
Yeah,
I can.
TV wise, yes, but her tribe is such a disaster. I like it, but we have to say it's a low. You know.
I mean,
Mm.
I think that's how we're going to be characterizing, like within the framework of the Council of Titos podcast. A lot of what we have to say about this particular episode falls in the lows, but that isn't to say that we don't like it, you know,
Mhm.
It's like
because Lulu is a hot mess, and that is just like, you know, we would call that a low here because of poor gameplay, you know, because of like, what are you doing, man? You know, you're suffering from a panic attack like twice, you know.
Mhm.
But then, you know, like we would think of those as lows, but by God, it's entertaining, you know. Like it's sort of that Schadenfreude thing,
Mm.
at least for me, right? It's like, huh, that's not me. Um, and like with Emily, for example, like I really do not like her,
Mm.
and that's by design.
Mm.
At least, like, you know, that's how she said she was going to play, and that's how she is being edited. You know, it's sort of
it's the
like
cats. It's the cat.
yeah.
Right?
So it's like, do we put that as a high or do we put that as a low? I put that as a high because,
Mm.
you know, it's sort of effective storytelling. You know, like we're not meant to like her. You know,
Mm. From that point of view, I can get your point. I get the point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's why she is a high for
She's
me.
effective in the character that she's portraying, or the character that the show is portraying her to be.
Yeah,
And she said it so herself, right? Even during the tribal, she's just, what was that? A weirder, more aggressive version of herself.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Good point.
although I am scared that she's gonna win because she has a great winner quote right at the beginning.
Mm.
Right? She says like, if I'm not
Mm.
voted out first, I'm gonna win the game. She
Mm.
wasn't voted out
She
first,
wasn't voted
Yeah.
out first.
right? Like they made it a point
No,
to
or I think it was the other way around though. if I'm not gonna win, I might as well get voted out
Oh.
first.
Yeah, or something like
Yeah.
I don't have the exact quote. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I should have taken that down. I have my notes, but but th- that scares me a little bit. That like
Mhm.
she's gonna win
Mhm.
because of that quote. Like it's too perfect a winner quote, and it's like right at the beginning, and it's like, all right, this is the story of the season. They made it a point to show that it was, you know, either Emily, Brandon, or Hannah.
Mm.
So we tie that back to her. You know, if I'm not going to win, I'm going to be first out. But
Mm.
she's not first out. So what's the other like alternative? The win? Oh no, that's kind of scary. But
She might just get dragged all the way to the end because
Yeah,
they
as a
think
goat.
that she's like no one's gonna vote for her,
Yeah.
and then she ends up winning anyway.
I wouldn't, you know, it's not gonna feel good. It's not gonna
Yeah.
feel good, but like art doesn't have to feel good.
Yeah.
You know, like waiting for Godot
Mm.
does not feel good. It's, you know, it challenges our core beliefs.
Exactly.
And this is gonna challenge our core beliefs if she wins.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. On the topic of Emily, though, I am going to say that if this was something that the director or that the producers and editors did on purpose, I'm going to give them like the biggest thumbs up that is humanly possible. Well, for me, a person of my thumb size, there was the weird aliens thing with the yellow tribe, right? Like, yeah, Team Alien. We're Team Alien, by the way. That's why I'm wearing the yellow. And you know, like you can tell that it was kind of played as a joke, obviously. And then we go into Emily's thought process about Caleb and Sabaya and how they must have an advantage because they didn't come back with the flint and machete, right?
Yep.
That's like the most conspiracy theory logic you're ever going to find. Right?
Yeah, true.
Right? It's like completely like unfalsifiable and all of the, you know, like I believe this cannot be disproven, therefore this is what it must be, and I strongly believe it. And even if Jeff says, because you weren't able to finish, you won't have your flint and machete, like the way her logic would go was, of course he would say that because he's part of the institution that is whatever, right? Like that's the most conspiracy theory, like, you know, reasoning that we find, and it's juxtaposed against the stupid like pyramids are batteries thing. And she's like, no, that's absolutely stupid, but
Here you are.
yeah, but Caleb and Sabaya totally have an advantage. Like if that juxtaposition was intentional, and I think it was, I would like to applaud the editors and the producers of Survivor just for that. It made me feel like warm and fuzzy. It's like, wow, you thought about that.
They were cooking that for months. Masterful.
Aliens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's aliens, but
it's aliens.
And it was Sabaya who said that they're covering something up. I don't know what, but they're covering something up, right? Speaking of Caleb and Sabaya, I mean, out of all of the
Yellow tribe.
What do you call this? What are we calling what's happening with the yellow tribe?
The Lulu.
No. Yeah, they're a disaster. Out of all of the disaster
tribe,
that's that's happening in Lulu, I just love Caleb and Sabaya. I mean, they're my favorite. I mean, I don't know if Sean probably, but we didn't see too much of Sean. But
not much of Sean.
Caleb and Sabaya are my favorite Lulu tribe members. I mean, especially since I remember watching a video of Caleb actually saying that he's not averse to being villainous. I don't know where I saw that. I think it was a preview of this season, and he was one of those guys. He was one of those. I don't know if it was him or it was again it was one of the castaways who said that he had a great grandmother who was a bank robber or something. Uh,
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god. Yeah, I forgot
So
about
I'm
that.
not sure if it was him or maybe it was Jake. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, Caleb and Sabaya, I like the fact that they rose to the occasion, right? They did Savvy and Sweat. Not I can't call it Sweat versus Savvy
Ah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah. Sweat and Savvy.
Yeah, Sweat and Savvy versus. Uh,
Yes, what Savvy versus.
yeah, and and even in the immunity challenge, they were the ones who were like they really were the strong. They rose to the occasion, being the strong pair of Lulu, where everyone else was just like being dead weight. I mean,
Yeah.
pun intended for Brandon. Uh, after falling, yeah, I was half like concerned that he might not get back up. Good for him though that he got back up. But
I'm
yeah,
I'm really hoping that he gets like that growth arc.
me too. I hope that he gets a redemption arc. Not quite like Siri, but yeah, I do hope that he gets a growth, a redemption arc throughout the
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
Like because Jeff kept on saying like this is Survivor, this is what you wanted,
Mhm.
and eventually he grows into it. Like I really hope that happens, and it's not like I remember we talked about him giving like Matthew vibes. I hope it isn't like a Matthew thing where he
Oh.
just gets medevaced out.
Mm, true.
But yeah, like I'm
And then we
uh
suddenly see him like pick up the machete and cut off his curly locks, and then he becomes like this manly man dude, and then just becomes a Jonathan.
no,
Oh
I'm
no.
I'm gonna I'm gonna find that really cool though. Like if they do something like that where he's like sitting down and he takes the machete and cuts off his hair. This is of course coming from somebody that was a fan of Star Wars, particularly like Clone Wars, Rebels, and currently Ahsoka. Like,
Mhm.
Kanan Jarrus did the thing where he cut off his hair
Mm.
and he became like more awesome. And Sabine Wren did the same thing in Ahsoka, the
Yeah, yeah,
same
yeah.
pose and everything, cutting off her hair. So that was like a callback there. So just like last season where we were hoping for a D&D tie-in, this is my hope for an Ahsoka tie-in.
I'm not quite sure because I don't think that Paramount and Disney are like in the same. I
I
don't think
don't
that
think
Disney has bought Paramount yet.
Yeah, yet.
they're not friends.
Yeah.
Not your
So
friends, buddy. Not your-
Speaking of Sabaya and
Caleb.
Caleb,
Yeah.
right? I was watching with my wife. Very
Oh,
unprecedented. Survivor is the weird thing that they do when we have our alone time. When she's like watching Korean novellas, I'm like watching freaking Survivor. um, but like, yeah, so we watched it uh, together last night. And I don't know how to express this in English and maybe not in Tagalog that well. But her words were, sila raman ng tarong.
Yeah.
What's that
They're the
mean?
only sane ones, basically.
Oh, the two. Oh
Yeah.
yes, that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the only ones who are right in the head. Everyone else is well. Again, we haven't quite seen a lot of Sean. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, like, they're the,
yeah. They're the ones who are only thinking. They're the only ones thinking. Everyone else is just feeling and coming up with conspiracy theories. Although it was Sabaya who came up with that whole pyramids or batteries thing, but
yeah. But, like,
I
I
completely
posit that it
understand.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Although I am gonna have to come to the defense of Brandon.
Brandon, the guy who had a panic
Not
attack, right?
yeah, Brandon.
Okay.
In terms of strategic play,
Why?
because he tried to get Hannah.
Right.
He tried to get Hannah to
Hannah's
stay.
vote or Hannah to stay?
Both. Like he tried to get Hannah to
Mhm.
stay
Oh,
so that he could get the majority with him, Hannah, Caleb,
Mhm.
and Sabaya.
To get Emily out.
that's true.
Right, to get Emily out. Like he really wanted her as a number, and so he kept on saying like, "Come on, you have to
Just
stay, you
explore
have
a
to
few
stay."
more
You know?
days.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You okay? Okay, you can probably give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just thinking that
But then he said he was gonna play the shot in the dark.
yeah,
No, why do you do that? Why do you do that? He might win because the last time somebody said like I'm gonna play my shot in the dark because I did
He
really
actually
bad.
win.
Like he ended up winning this season.
Yeah.
Oops, all Gabler.
Maybe he's Ali Gablering. He was actually sandbagging the challenges.
Oh man,
No, maybe not.
no.
Though it feels bad because here's another example that they show that this guy went off the couch, but maybe he should have stayed in the couch. Kind of Colton thing. Though I hope it's just for episode 1 and he actually recovers from this.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Again,
it's
the growth edit.
yeah. I hope it's a
Hopefully, he
growth
gets
edit
something
then.
like that.
Yeah, because like that's another interesting juxtaposition that I saw with the Lulu tribe.
Mhm.
You have the juxtaposition of Hannah and Brandon, right?
Mhm.
Where you have, excuse me, where you have Hannah, that is somebody that theoretically should be sort of, cut out for the game, right? Like mental health professional, theoretically in touch with, her emotions, and she's not gonna be overwhelmed, and she read books and all of that sort of thing. And then you have Brandon, who is being shown to be kind of the opposite of
Mhm.
that. Like the person who, despite the overwhelming effects of the game, is shown talking to Hannah, encouraging her to be strong while simultaneously telling that to himself,
Mhm.
and sort of seeing that juxtaposition I think the I think the producers telling us that we prefer a Brandon, like somebody that is going to fight through all of the
Mhm.
problems that he may have, because he, he ended up looking a lot better than Hannah, let's face it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's yeah. It'll mix with one of my lows. I mean, Hannah was so ill prepared. I mean, she said it so herself. She's not survivorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was so ill prepared for anything for the next 26 days, let alone just one day. Yeah.
So I suppose we should talk about our other highs before we pile
Yeah.
on Hannah.
Okay, let me go ahead and say
So
it that
bad.
I
I'm so
I
sorry.
loved I loved the sweat savvy versus challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that it was something new. It wasn't triangles anymore. It wasn't what was the other one? The one
It
from
was
last
like
season?
Word puzzle.
there was a word puzzle,
Yeah.
and there was the one that was move one stick to make the highest number or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I like the fact that this one, although I think that they underestimated how hard that puzzle was gonna be.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, because I did see a video uh come out on how to actually solve it, and I couldn't
Mhm.
follow it. I couldn't follow how you're supposed to be able to solve that after lugging uh, probably how many hundreds of pounds of logs
Yeah.
from one side of the beach to the other, right? I mean, you're already physically wasted. You probably couldn't think, and especially if you're like Brando, who's like a wisp of a kid,
Yeah.
lugging all of that. He had to push some of the logs on the sand, making it probably even harder to do. And then you ask him to think. You ask him to reason, so to think logically and solve that puzzle. Given all of that, I love the fact that we have a different take on the sweat versus savvy challenge. And yeah, I like the fact that it was a hard challenge. They're probably gonna tweak it, recalibrate it for season 46, but I hope that it stays because no one has solved it anyway yet.
So what we're saying is that like the dream team is amazing because the dream team the dream team was able to get through it with a little bit of time to spare because they wouldn't put it on if the dream team hadn't completed it, right?
Yeah.
So like the dream team is amazing, in other words.
Exactly.
Or, maybe they were much better rested.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, these guys just recently came off of the previous challenge. Yeah, you've got Jake, who also jumped in the water, right?
Yeah.
In the marooning challenge, and then you send them over to this next challenge, and then yeah, Brando probably was like so embarrassed because his pole got stuck in that whole windy thing in the marooning challenge. Yeah, so I don't know. The variables weren't basically it wasn't yeah they weren't operating with similar circumstances as the dream team, but that being said, the dream team probably is very amazing.
Yes, but I agree with you though in that the sweat savvy versus, I guess that's what we're gonna be calling it, right? That's what Rob Sesternino and
Oh,
what was
is it?
his name? Yeah, or was it? I think it was. It was either Rob and
Steven?
no, not Steven.
Other guy?
The the college entrance admissions
Owen.
counselor guy. Owen, yeah. Like it was either them or survivor specialists that said like it should be called sweat savvy versus. So like I guess that's what we're gonna call it for now, sweat savvy
Yeah.
versus. Like I like that it's different,
Mhm.
and I like that it's a zero sum game.
Mm.
Like somebody necessarily has to lose
Yeah,
because that creates a little bit of a more interest, or that creates an interesting dynamic.
exactly. Exactly. What are your thoughts on the sweat savvy versus challenge, Marts?
Just like the competitors, that took me by surprise. Like, oh, so they can't pick anymore. Yikes. No, I really felt like the yellow tribe would have had it, had, but, the blue tribe did well. So props to Brando and the
Jake.
other dude,
Jake.
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 Something. Yeah. Jake.
Jake O'Kane,
Yeah.
wicked smart.
Mm. But none
You
of
actually
them
said
made
it.
it though. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like when he says wicked smart, I'm like, oh man,
yeah.
my little brother must be like rolling on the floor laughing with his like watch party.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's the thing that they do.
It's really a saying for
In Boston.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Boston.
yeah.
Ooh, okay.
New Yorkers say mad, insert like adjective. People from sort of Boston say wicked adjective. So like wicked
Oh.
smart. Yeah. What do you guys think of um the beware advantage?
Oh yeah, I had a note on that. I wasn't able to transfer it.
Wait, yeah.
I like it.
What's it about again?
I like the way I like the beware advantage. I like the fact that it's not just one task. It's sort of it's sort for me it felt as if it was like it became similar to the birdcage advantage.
How so?
The birdcage challenge, not so much what you had to do, but the feel of it, that there is that there's a huge chance you might get found out, and you have to be able to use your smarts so that you're not found out that you're actually looking for something, that you're doing something. And because I mean the first clue is right there on
On
the
their
tribe
flag or
flag, right?
whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure that everything else will probably be still around camp, and you'll have to be creative in how you're going to figure things out. We don't know how many tasks that Austin needs to make, as Austin needs to accomplish. But yeah, and I like the fact that I tried when I rewatched the episode. I tried to figure out what the lower half meant. We don't actually know if it's the lower half or the upper half.
Yeah, we
Right?
don't, huh? I'm gonna try that. I should. Dang it! I should have tried that. I should have like screenshotted it and like
Yeah.
cut it and everything. But yeah, just to like see what it says. But I'm sure somebody on Reddit already did that.
Yeah. I sort of think I think that I saw like dig in the first three letters, I think spelled dig, but that's if it's at the bottom. But if you flip it over, it's gonna be something different. Yeah, I think something like dig near something or something like that. But then again, towards the latter half of the message, the parchment, it didn't quite make sense anymore because there was two letters that looked like they were going to form a letter L, and then right after that, it looked like something that was going to form a letter G and then a letter N. So LLGN. What word has LLGN? Right?
Wellington.
Oh, that's New Zealand. That's it.
Sorry, I watched like a couple of episodes of Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
Wellington's in the oven now.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the beware advantage for this season. I love the fact that hopefully it involves doing stuff around camp. It's not something that you can do on your own.
It's like a quest.
Exactly.
It's a quest that's pretty cool. And it felt sort of like a throwback to Survivor China, I believe it was. The one where the idol was like
idol was just there.
Yeah, where it was just there in the shelter, right? And just had to take it down.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. It felt like a little bit of a throwback to that, where like Gabler, it was just hiding in plain sight, you know.
Yeah. Now that you're saying it, now that you mentioned it, Joe, that it sounds like a quest. I'm now thinking they should have put this beware advantage in season 44.
Exactly. What do you put in cages? Birds.
Birds.
What do we have on like the logo?
Yeah.
Birds.
What do you expect for a story that has a medieval theme? Quests.
And
Oh, Survivor.
My God. Yeah. Any other highs, guys?
Let's see.
Or are we just raring to go to the lows?
we are really
You know, I like the 90-minute episodes. You know, it feels. I mean, it's I found the beginning montage to be a little long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt it. I felt it. Like when they were riding on the boat, it felt a little bit longer than usual.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the rest of we got to see like more camp life. We got to see more. You know, we got to see more of the tribal discussion. Well, not really more of the tribal discussion. I think we got exactly what we needed to get from the tribal discussion. Yeah, we got to see more camp life. If this had been like shorter episodes, we probably would not have seen
aliens.
No, that's what we would have focused on. Like
because
like,
we needed to see Emily as an outsider. Yeah, true.
Right. So it's like I can tell you a little bit more about the people in Belo and Reba after this first episode than I could have told you about like tribes that weren't Purple Tribe from last season, right? Because you know there was more time given to like have the like.
Would we have gotten the Sifu attempt at becoming Tony Vlachos in about 90-minute episode?
That was that was quite the high. Would we have gotten the astrologer thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
it might have been alluded to or whatever, but with the extra time, we weren't left with all Lulu all the time, and like there was that one episode last season, I believe it was, where we just had like probably like a minute with with the other two tribes, and like the entire rest of the episode was Purple Tribe.
Mm.
Like or whatever tribe was up for tribal, probably Purple Tribe, because they were like tribal all the way.
Yeah.
And I remember that sticking out as being like, okay, so this is why we could need longer episodes. And now that we're getting longer episodes, I think, unlike video game companies, Survivor producers are giving the fans what they want.
Yeah. We still hold on to the belief that that Jeff Probst and Mark Burnett are listening in on even our podcast, and and
please,
men on the street.
Please listen to our podcast, Jeff.
Yes,
I listened to
please.
yours.
Yeah. Yeah, but given that though, there was one big development for this season that was left on the cutting room floor.
That's where we're gonna transition to our lows, because
yeah.
that was something
That's
that really
that's a low for me.
That's something that really got to me. I was like, really, Jeff, you
you didn't put that in. I mean, yeah, I understand.
One, you didn't put that in, and two, you told us that you didn't put it in. Now we want to see it.
Maybe they're gonna put it as an extra. Because there's actually the immunity challenge. After the immunity challenge, Marts, the winning tribe of the immunity challenge, that's Bello, they were actually allowed to send a representative to the camp of the losing tribe.
What the hell?
Lulu. And they sent Kendra to the camp, so she was able to observe during their scramble. And I think she was also able to observe during tribal, right? And possibly cast a vote. She was supposed to.
She casted. She didn't observe tribal, but she was able to cast a vote.
Oh, okay.
She casted a vote in Tree Mill, and she voted for Brandon.
Oh,
can we watch it through CBS, or is it geo?
It's probably gonna come out later on as a extra scene
in the DVD commentary or whatever. In the Peter Jackson's extended cut version of Survivor 45. The reason we know about this is because Jeff mentioned it on his podcast.
Oh, nuts.
He was like, this is for the super fan, like the most super fans. And he said, like, and it might come in, and this information might come into play later. And I'm like, well, because they cut it out of the first episode, it's probably not going to come into play. But like,
pretty much,
like it's probably not going to be very much of a thing. But they have 90-minute episodes, and they cut out that entire like subplot, which I mean, if we're gonna do the whole trust the process thing, this is probably like completely inconsequential, just like that. Well, it wasn't inconsequential though. That the thing that Omer had, the steal a vote or whatever it was that Omer had, that they completely cut out of the episode as well. But it really didn't play a super huge role, even though it was kind of consequential in the vote at the time. But if they cut out something this big, I don't know. Hopefully it's inconsequential.
You think that it's going to be something that they're going to do for all of the episodes, for all of the immunity challenges, or was it something for only for for episode 1?
I wouldn't be opposed to it being something that they do for every immunity challenge, like in an alternate timeline where we didn't have the pandemic, and we kept on going with themes. This could be like Survivor 45, spies, you know, like, or like Survivor 45, the Watchers.
Yeah. Who watches the Watchers?
Another crossover, right? They all dress up like the Watcher from like Marvel. And they all have to shave their head.
What to?
Yeah, so that was a pretty big low, right? The fact that they didn't put it in, but yeah, well, like what you said, Joe. The fact that they didn't put it in probably means that it doesn't come into play. Although I
Yeah,
do
so
hope, yeah, I do hope that it comes back, and then that's probably what Jeff meant. It didn't have any repercussions for this episode because Hannah quit anyway.
yeah,
Well, we can't say that she quit. She forced people to vote her out.
yeah. That was very. It's really weird. Like she was super strategic about getting out. Like
Mm.
if only she applied that mind for strategy to playing the game.
Um, yeah, come here. I guess we're gonna go into the Hannah bashing now. No, it's not bashing. We're just pointing out that she
That's
could have
funny.
what she could have done.
Yeah.
Uh,
Apparently, people have like doxed her already and have been like trying to ruin like her livelihood. So please don't do that,
yeah, let's not
people
do
of
that.
the internet. Like
But
that's petty.
that's petty. But I mean, if you know that there's a chance that you're gonna stay on an island for 26 days, away from basic necessities, and you vape, right? You
Oh
could
yeah.
probably have prepared a little bit better.
Yeah, it wasn't. She was
With culprit or something.
using nicotine
Nicotine patches? Was she?
little pouches. They're about the size of a chiclet.
Oh, okay.
Apparently those things don't exist anymore.
Oh wow.
Like I don't remember. Yeah, apparently those aren't, or they exist in like one city in South America somewhere, but it's this little pouch about the size of a chiclet that's
Mhm.
just nicotine. One of my friends used that during the bar exam, so
Mm.
you sort of stick it
Mhm.
under your upper lip or something, so like and you keep it there, and apparently she
She uses it. That's what she's
yeah,
in. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could have probably prepared a little bit better. It's such a waste because I mean, I'm sure that she had a lot of merit. That's why she got cast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this season, it's not just the fact that she probably is a good foil for Brandon, or can augment whatever Brandon is going through, or what,
Mm.
because you kind of see that there's a pattern when it comes to Lulu, right?
Yeah.
All of them are kind of a little
A bit Lulu.
extra.
They're
Yeah.
a little bit Lulu.
Yeah, they're a little bit
Yeah.
Let's
Lulu.
call them. Let's say that. Yeah.
Except for what your wife said, the Caleb and Sabaya, they're the only ones who are not a little bit Lulu, right?
Yeah.
Although we haven't
Or
seen too much of them yet. Yeah, but what their Lulu-ness is the fact that they believe that pyramids are batteries. Well, at
which
least
I
that's
will
Sabaya.
say which I will say they probably don't believe, but
Yeah. It's just a joke.
they're just like making conversation. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, Hannah. That I mean, mad props to you for getting into Survivor. I just wish that you could have prepped a little bit better for it.
I mean, could it get worse, right? Because if she quit cold turkey that season, we've seen people in Survivor that did the same thing, and let's just say they weren't
Refresh our memory,
the
Martin.
nicest of people. One Shane Powers way back in a few seasons ago. He legit quit cold turkey, and he was such a cranky guy from the first episode in this season.
Who's Shane again?
One of the first few villains in Survivor that season that was won by Earl Cole. I think it was either Panama or Exile Island.
Is
Same
he the
season
one
as
who had
Serene.
he's not the
The
guy who
rock
with
cell
the
phone.
yeah, the BlackBerry.
Yep, that was it.
Isn't that also the season where It was Panama, I think.
Bruce. Yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, no.
Panama,
I think it was
Panama.
Panama, and that was the season where there was a
Oh,
rumor.
Paris one. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a rumor that a block of cocaine actually washed up on shore.
What?
Whoa!
Yeah, that's
I
why.
did. I did
That's
not
why.
know
Yeah,
that.
Panama. Panama.
That's why
Yeah.
he supposedly was behaving that way.
Oh,
Oh.
but like
But
I,
he claimed he quit cold turkey. That's why he was a bit,
Mm.
like that
Yeah.
too.
because I remember the scene like when they went on reward, right? He got a cigarette and he was all like,
Yeah.
it looked like he was on weed,
Oh, no.
basically. I don't know. but yeah. So
It could
that
have
was
been worse. So I think Hannah did what was best for her interest too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
it would have been a 2-villain tribe then.
Yeah. That's why we don't need that.
It would make for great TV, man. The cat fights, come on. But yeah, like, oh man, I don't know. As somebody that suffers from nicotine addiction, I know that I would never be able to make it on Survivor, and she should have been reflective enough
Yeah.
and self-aware enough to know that, right? Which is something that I know Survivor casting is looking for. Right? That's how they get the super fans. You know, I think they select for self-awareness, which is you know what we've noticed as being something that's a bit of a running theme throughout this new era. Maybe the therapist thing was something that they looked at and was
Probably.
like, yeah, this is a sign of self-awareness. But I don't know, man. Just because you can help others through their problems doesn't necessarily mean that you might, or doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be the best at it, right? Like you have marriage counselors that are in the middle of like, you know,
marital
terrible,
troubles
like
themselves.
yeah. So you know, I don't know. I don't know. We do know that after it happened, Jeff had a talk with the casting directors.
Oh.
Yeah, saying something, basically saying like, how did she get through? What do we have to
Physical.
tweak? What do we have to tweak? What boxes need to be checked or unchecked in order for this not to happen again? Because you know that was also on them, right? Like maybe they should include, you know, nicotine addiction as a bigger red flag, for example. Like just because you know Shane Powers made it through, you know, maybe that's why they didn't make it as much of a red flag as it probably should be. But you know, addiction is. And really, do you think somebody that got sober at 21 or whatever is like overcoming a great addiction?
Oh,
Because like that was
I don't
was part
know.
of her story, right? That she
Oh.
got that she got sober, but then it was like at an earlier, it was you know, in her 20s or whatever. Like I don't know. Like I've never been addicted to alcohol, thank heavens. But like I would imagine that that the that the sobriety story of Carolyn, for example, is, you know, something that's a lot more powerful and more transformative than Hannah's sobriety story. Let me look that up while you guys like
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said about Carolyn, I'm also thinking that the fact that they were able to get such a great story out of casting Carolyn Winger, is it Winger or Wigger? Wigger? Anyway, Carolyn from last season, that might have skewed how they were looking at casting for season 45, and that probably contributed to why Hannah uh was casted as well, because you sort of can get the same vibe, especially with what you said, Ja, about her having gotten sober in a previous time of her life, right? So you've got the whole Carolyn thing going on. She's white, she's blonde, she's got tattoos. she, uh, I don't know if it's becoming a typecast, but yeah, it seems it probably did factor into why Hannah got cast.
Yeah, it's I'm reading from I'm reading from Mike Bloom's article, right? Um, becoming sober at age 20.
Mm.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if 2 years of alcohol addiction or 2 years of unless she was on like meth or something,
Yeah.
right? Like unless it was
Like
meth
rock
or
bottom.
like heroin or cocaine or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, but if it was something like alcohol,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that assuming that that we're above. No, she wasn't old enough to drink, right? It's 21 in the U.S.
Yeah, it's 21 in the US.
Okay, so how does she?
It's
Well, I don't know.
probably I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, but yeah. So I mean, if it was something like meth, then like, damn, props,
Mm.
But there really isn't very much about her sobriety story.
Mm.
But sorry, I could be just like getting it, all wrong. But my thought was 18, right? Because that's what it is. That's what drinking age is in most of the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking like 18 to 20, developed a love for the bottle, and like at 20 he was like, no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. But I don't know. I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know.
Like what Martin said, good for her for doing what's best for her. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just wow.
Alcoholism
Yeah,
at 20.
At 20.
Well, yeah. Despite the fact that they're not allowed to drink, they probably still a lot of American teenagers probably still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. Point
But yeah,
is,
I mean, we did get again going back to Carolyn. She also went sober, and
Yeah.
hers was more than alcohol. She was also into drugs,
She
right?
mentioned that. Yes,
And she became a drug counselor afterwards,
Mhm.
right? So you got that great story, that great castaway, that great new member into the survivor family. And you want, of course, you always want to capture lightning in a bottle twice, right?
Yeah.
So they probably thought that Hannah would be the second coming of a Carolyn. Unfortunately, she couldn't quite hack it.
Yeah. Although, like I will say that the way that she got everybody to vote her out, so strategic.
Yeah.
It's like chef's kiss.
Yeah, I had to ask. I had to ask about, because if she had quit, they would still have voted.
Yeah. Like that, she said that during tribal council, right? Like something like, if I'm being frank, I don't have to be voted out to leave the game.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I'm like, oh, you're holding your tribe hostage.
Mm.
Like, smart. Oh yeah, sayang.
It's a waste, because she probably had one of the more strategic minds.
Yeah.
A lot more strategic than, say, a Brandon or maybe even an Emily.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am going to say, man, I'm gonna have to come to the defense of Brandon just a little bit. just a little bit.
Mm.
When he's not overcome by emotion, he seems okay with strategy.
Yes.
Like his talk with
Hannah.
What's it? Not
Oh
Hannah.
no, with Caleb.
Yeah, his talk with Caleb. Like, that's the right strategic move right there. So, yeah, it's when he's on, he's on. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I just hope he's on more than he is off.
Yep.
Yeah, Marcy, we're gonna say something.
I mean, he is the biggest Survivor fan ever in this season. So,
Oh, did he say that somewhere?
well, we know his background as being one of those guys, the online Survivor
I
community. He's known. We don't know here in the Philippines, but he's known there in the West. So there's a lot of eyes on that guy online and on the TV screen. So how he was portrayed here, like, yeah, he kind of fumbled like the shock man, or like, he fumbled episode 1. So I really hope there is a growth story going in here, like Sari Fields in her first go around. If not, then come on, editors, you're really like kicking your longtime fans again in the balls, like you did, like for the Coltons or for the first time of Cochrane. I'm just getting some flashbacks of those guys again.
I don't think they did Owen dirty though. I think they know how to.
Yeah, they didn't. He's
I think
just
they know
Charlie
how to.
Brown.
I think they know. I think they know how to edit super fans.
I hope. I really am hoping for that.
Like
but
I think
they're still
they
deciding.
learned. I think, or at least they're learning, because like yeah, Owen was totally Charlie Brown, but we ended up loving him so much
Yep.
by the end of the season.
So I hope it's at least that for Brandon, because yeah, he has a strategy. I just
It's just really
better.
it's just obfuscated by the tears. Let's just
Yeah.
put it
Yeah, the
that way.
tears, the
Tears.
heartburn, the fact that he can't quite seem to get up stuff,
What was the acid reflux? Yeah, heartburn.
the acid
acid
reflux and the
reflux.
heartburn. He
Ugh.
can't get up a ladder. He can't get up a wall. Yeah. I don't know.
Not a good start.
I don't know. And he considers himself really good at making others feel comfortable.
That doesn't make me feel comfortable. That doesn't make me feel comfortable. I mean, his
He walks in.
mate
I'm
was
not
trying
dead."
to pull him up. Like, I can't. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come
I'm sure
on.
he'd be great at camp life.
Oh, hell yeah.
Probably is. Probably
Until
is the
he
glue
gets
guy.
bitten off by a lot of insects.
Yeah, it's like what was it?
They get hives.
They said I don't know. It was really they almost said brains, bronze, and beauty, but like they were like brain, brawn, and morale or something.
Yeah.
Like I was like, are they gonna do the thing where they say the thing? Oh, they said morale. And that's
Morale, and
where-
that's what he does. He's good
Yeah.
for morale.
Yeah, he's he would be unless he grows, he's a great merge boot.
I hope he grows. I really am hoping
Right.
against hope he can
You know,
grow.
He's gonna make a great merge boot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still team Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still Team Brando. He's the kid.
Oh, Brando. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Austin.
You were Austin was your what?
Yeah, my pick.
Austin was
his
your
winner pick.
So far, so good. He
Yeah,
has
yeah,
the
I
viewer
am right.
advantage.
It was Austin who was like shown in a preview, like hitting that hitting something while jumping.
yeah. Yeah.
He looked really cool. So he's probably Anyway, speaking about the rest of the cast, I don't know. Like what I said prior, I think that they cast guys or they cast people who are extra, who are a little extra, right? You've got Sifu, who's so extra.
I hope he and Bruce can stick until the merge, and then they ally each other. I am Sifu. You will be I will mentor you now, Bruce, and I will call you Lee. Oh my god!
Yeah,
It's
Sifu
a
is a
strange
little
uncle
extra.
and Sifu. What would make this
Eh.
better is if Coach would make a special appearance. They'll do Coach Shi on the beach.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, Sifu's a character. I mean, he tried to be Tony Vlachos 2.0,
That was hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
but he was Vlachos light, man.
Yeah, I mean, like you're not, you're not gonna be Vlacos, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I even do a spy check? He forgot how to make something. Spice something first.
Yeah, that with Sifu, and then you've got Kendra, the
Okay.
astrologer lady.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Something about Sifu, right?
Mm.
Like, um, he does Tai Chi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
He does Tai Chi, and during the marooning challenge, he was wearing a changshan,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was wearing a changshan, and I was like, are you sure you want to do that, bro? Like Survivor, are you sure you're going to want to have this guy wearing a changshan? like, thankfully they changed it up, right? Thankfully they
Mm-hmm.
changed his quote unquote costume, right? But I was kind of worried there. Um. Oh yeah, the changshan is
The traditional top.
Traditional.
the Chinese shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess he's respected enough in the Tai Chi community. I don't know.
Yeah, but you oh man,
Mm.
sorry for bringing the podcast to this place. Truth doesn't matter. Optics are everything.
Optics are everything. True.
Yeah.
Right. We had this when we were in college. We attended a talk by this person from this lady from Ateneo de Manila University who had a degree in literature, PhD or something, right? And she was very mestiza. Let's just
Okay.
put it that way, right? You know, like your Barretos mestiza type, whatever, right? So for all intents and purposes, she looked white,
Mhm.
and she was teaching at a university in California
Mhm.
in their Asian Studies department or something. As you know, teaching like Southeast Asian literature or one of those sort of classes, and something that she said was the head of the department was nowhere near as qualified as her. You know, she had come from Ateneo de Manila teaching, Philippine studies,
Mhm.
sort of studying the literatures of Southeast Asia in Southeast Asia. She just didn't look Southeast Asian. And so no matter how qualified she was, the American that was born and bred in the United States to Filipino immigrant parents
Mhm.
is going to get the job before a naturalized American that actually knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? So perhaps Sifu is respected enough in that community. But truth doesn't matter. Optics are everything.
Well, he already
So
calls himself Sifu, so
Yeah.
yeah,
that's
right?
just another nail in
A
the
master or teacher.
Yeah. So I was like, really? you're gonna have him wear
You're
that?
gonna go there. They're going there.
But then, yeah, thankfully,
And he had this whole
thankfully,
on the boat ride. He was like
Yeah.
the whole all of that.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like we haven't seen it in Coats.
Yeah, but that was a different time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Hopefully it will be more
that was a
forgiving.
different time. This is the what do you call it? This is the diversity. This is post diversity initiative, where theoretically we're a little bit more sensitive.
Mhm.
We're a little bit more sensitive about things like
Things.
this.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll
I
see
don't
how
know.
well, like what you said. At least he changed after
Yeah. After
jumping into the
first-
water after the mooring. Right?
Yeah, because there was no way that was gonna fly.
Yeah.
But I actually really like him, Sifu.
Yeah.
Like,
could have been
it's
more.
it's. I guess their energy level I guess their energy level kind of balances it all out. Like part of the reason that Marianne was a little much in 42 was because she was above everybody else in terms of energy level.
Mm-hmm.
But now that there's a little bit more high energy, but then they might be pushing
Everyone's a little too high energy for me.
they might be pushing it a little
Yeah.
too much though. Like last season was a really good balance with Carolyn and
Carolyn
Jam
and
Jam.
Jam, and then the rest are like,
Carson, what do you call
Yeah, but then Carson was kind of a counterbalance there,
Mhm.
right? So it was a really good mix last season. I'm hoping that like I'm hoping that they managed to show us a good what's it? Another good balance this season.
yeah.
Right? Because at the beginning of last season, I remember us also kind of saying that they might be a little much.
True.
That's true. Yeah.
True.
Right? But then they were kind of balanced out by the rest of the cast plus just good gameplay from them.
Exactly.
And I think the second half, I think we liked last season better when it came time to the merge. As far as I recall, our previous episodes there. So I think this
Yeah.
might have the same trajectory.
I'm hoping
Right.
because last season was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Let's see if lightning strikes twice. Well, that's as for me for the lows of the loot.
Oh, you don't have any more lows?
Well, aside from not much focus on maybe the red tribe outside of Sifu and the advantage. I wanted to know more about the other guys there. But
Yeah.
it comes with the territory. Even though it's a 90-minute premiere, well, we'll now have a 90-minute per episode. Maybe, hopefully, episode 2. We'll know more
Yeah.
about the red and the blue tribes.
Yeah, I mean, we still need to learn about a little bit more about Basil.
Who?
or the famous J Maya.
Hey man, I'm gonna that one song, that one crossword
I actually
song.
watched. I actually watched that.
It's quite clever, huh?
Yeah,
Right.
it's clever.
Say what you want. She's a pretty good lyricist.
That is assuming that she does write her own songs.
I'm guessing she does. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's how Instagram
Oh, true.
musicians do their thing, right? Like they write their own stuff. There's no way she can afford a writer. I mean,
True.
just saying.
Say no, Rebecca. Black.
Right, but
Yeah.
like I said, her lyrics, they're pretty good. Basile, man. Who are we getting? Are we getting Drew or are we getting Basile?
Yeah, he's an interesting character. Speaking of
So we
balance,
actually have
right? Speaking of balance,
in the new era, for the first time, we have seven member tribe. Sorry. Anyway, you were saying balance.
yeah. Speaking of balance, I mean, he's supposedly like he's got Drew, the logical, the thinker, and then you've got Basile. And then
bro.
the bro. It's quite interesting that he's in the same tribe as Sifu, who's a Tai Chi master, but he's also a hard rock musician. Right?
Yeah.
It's the whole thing about yin and yang balancing. That's their tribe. And then you've got the tribe of whiners in the yellow tribe. We don't quite know yet what the blue tribe's all about, but yeah, there might be a running theme there too.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's funny. Now that you mentioned Drew and Basile, the last time I heard of someone that did that in a reality TV show, he became a WWE World Champion, and his name is Mike Mizanin. Because in the real world, he had the character of the Miz, but he's called Mike there. So we'll just be the new Miz in 2023.
What reality show did he join?
The Real World.
Oh, the Real World. Okay, okay.
Something we actually didn't see yet. So the snippets we got were from WWE, where he created the Miz character back in that game he had, like the Real World, Back to New York, and that's like way back in 2001.
Yeah, and it's not far fetched that Basil probably is a wrestling fan. Uh,
Maybe, but it's not in his bio.
yeah.
You're going back to Sifu. That guy is like really interesting.
Yeah.
How
Like,
so?
uh, Tai Chi
Mm.
is I studied Tai Chi at one point.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, Master Benny. Tai Chi is like one of the most useless martial arts out there. Like as a fighting style,
Mm-hmm.
or as for fighting, for martial arts, like Tai Chi is it's terrible, um, but something that Tai Chi is very good for is meditation,
Mm.
right? And sort of mastery of movement, right? Like sort of precision in your movement or whatever. Like if you look at while I was studying Tai Chi, I was also studying Arnis, right? Like
Okay.
Arnis, like at least the person that I was studying from was like, precision. You you don't need to be super precise. All you're really looking to do is sort of hit the weak point as hard as you can.
Mm. This is Arnis.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. Like you you're not gonna need to get the exact precise movement, as long as you can kind of get in a good hit while doing a good disarm and counter strike.
Mm.
Like that's kind of the thing, or was it as long as you get a good hit while doing a good block, disarm, and counter strike, and it doesn't have it can be sloppy,
Mm.
right? So what's it is really good for meditation.
Tai
Tai
Chi.
Chi is really good for meditation, and from the people that I've seen that do a lot of meditation, they they don't get their chanshans and start dancing around.
Mm-hmm.
When Mr. Jeff says Reba,
Reba!
it's like the dichotomy in his person, like we're saying yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that's just super evident, and I really like that conflict in people, in
Yeah.
characters.
And he even said that he listens to heavy metal while doing Tai Chi. And I was like, how are you able to do that?
Focusing, yeah.
As
Would
somebody
you?
that
Yeah.
listens to
Yeah.
metal and hardcore going to sleep.
Oh, it is
It
possible.
can work. Wow.
Yeah, because it tends to be very like rhythmic and repetitive.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of get what you
Right?
mean.
So unless yeah, so unless we're listening to stuff that is that requires a lot more active listening, like
Mm.
sort of progressive metal. If it's just very straightforward kind of metal or hardcore, it has a sort of hypnotic kind of quality to it. I don't
Okay.
know,
All right.
the
Okay.
the chugs, the repetitions, the
Mhm.
gents, the breakdowns, like they're very, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess it can work. Just rounding out the cast. You did mention her as a high because yeah, she's effective in the character that she portrays. But oh my god, I have to also put her in the low. And we're of course I'm of course talking about Emily. Uh, just can't let anything go. I mean,
I know.
first you mentioned it, March. First 3 minutes of the episode, and she's already
Interrogating Bruce.
and it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary antagonism, right? She's there just to
Stir the
you
pot.
said that she's sowing chaos. For me, it's irresponsible gameplay.
Yes.
Yeah, she's it's unnecessary for her to do that. I mean, like the dude isn't even on your own tribe. You don't need to pin the
Right?
target on his back yet,
Hmm.
right? In the merge, maybe you could probably do that, but right off the bat in the marooning, and it's not like It's
They'll
as if
switch that fast.
it's not like what do we call this? Bruce was doing anything, but Bruce was saying anything wrong
He was
or
just
untrue.
standing there.
He was just standing there and he was just saying that he was just
Yeah,
assuring
he's
everyone,
excited to be
you know
back.
what, whatever advantage I've got, we're all in the same boat now, literally and figuratively, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
she didn't even wait to be called by Mr. Jeff.
Yeah. And then she goes like, "Oh, I have to push back on with Bruce." And that, yeah,
Wait, what advantage did he have? Getting injured 12 hours? That's
yeah.
it? Is that an
That's what he
advantage,
wanted.
Emily?
That's what he wanted to point out. That the fact that
Emily?
because there was a big hullabaloo. Okay, he's a returning player, but Bruce wanted to point it out that, you know what, I only spent 12 hours, 13 maybe, more than you guys.
Most of
So
them being hurt.
yeah, most of them being hurt
Yeah.
and probably even passed out from the concussion, right? So and then Emily just went ahead and, had to go on a had to go aggro on him.
Yeah. But Emily's point was, um, the lead up to the game is something that is sort of uh, noteworthy, right? Like the mental preparation that leads into the game is an advantage. I mean, she didn't necessarily have to bring it up in that moment.
Mm.
She might have a point. I'm not sure. Could be her conspiracy theory mind,
Yeah.
like,
Could be the delivery.
running
That
there.
everyone is out to get you. Everything is everything. There's something wrong somewhere.
You know
Yeah.
what, Emily? Welcome to Survivor. Welcome to Survivor. He'll fit right in, Neil.
I mean, but don't encourage that kind of thinking, because in Survivor it's true, right? Like it's true. Everybody like pretty much is out
Yeah.
to get you.
I'll forget you, but dear
But
God,
that's
don't let it consume you.
but that's like conspiracy. That's how conspiracy theories like solidify, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, it's not a conspiracy theory if it's true, you know.
Yeah.
You hear that sort of language. So let's
Once they have
not.
at least one morsel of truth in their conspiracy theory, they'll think that the entire conspiracy theory is true. Yeah.
So in other words, terrible gameplay.
Terrible gameplay.
Yes.
Right off the bat. Terrible gameplay. Yeah.
It's the
I
hot mess
don't
tribe.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's Emily for you. I don't know if you guys have anything more to add about
That's it.
Emily.
That's it for Emily.
Yeah. Okay.
I really
Yeah.
don't like her. I really don't like her,
Hmm.
and that's
By
good.
design. Yeah. That's
Like,
fine.
or at least that's how I'm seeing it. Like,
That's why she was cast.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it's something that I find, and this is probably something for your this is probably something for like your Glorious Reacts podcast, but something that I find to be like lacking in modern media is just somebody that you root against.
Mm.
Like one of the most like common things that you'll find in this sort of media criticism space now is insert name of villain here was right.
Mm. Yeah.
And so like everybody likes the villain, which I understand that. It's good to have that, but like at the same time, sometimes you just need a villain that
That's just a villain.
you just kind of hate,
Mhm.
like theater nerds out there, Iago, you just hate the guy. You just freaking hate the guy, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what the character was designed to be for,
And then all of a sudden someone comes out with a movie about how Iago was just, he was slighted because Othello didn't whatever passed him over, and then it justifies his actions.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just society trying to, justify why they have to do their bad actions to make media like that, right? But there is nothing for me to say.
It's Disney's fault. It's Disney's fault.
Yeah, it
They
is.
gotta turn the
Disney's
money.
fault because they what's it? They queer coded a lot of their villains. Right? Like a lot of their villains have what we would think of as sort of things that how do we put this? The signs, and we're talking sign in the semiotics sense here, the signs of homosexuality,
Mhm.
Okay.
right? Like, very soft. I don't know how to describe it other than that, but like, the way that they speak, it's very queer coded, and you have an entire generation of children struggling with their sexuality, watching Disney cartoons and all of that, identifying with the villains
Mm.
because that's where they saw somebody that was like them. And so the sort of unfortunate kind of outcome of that is, Angelina Jolie, great actress, but we get like Maleficent. Like, one of the things that I loved about Maleficent as a villain was that in Sleeping Beauty she was just terrible.
She was, yeah.
And then all of a sudden we give her like a back, or like Cruella de Vil, like
Recently, yeah.
like again, like one of my favorite working actresses right now, but like, Cruella was like, Cruella de Vil was just supposed to be evil for the sake of evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just wanted coats,
Yeah.
right? It's like it's like how Mr. Burns ripped her off in the Simpsons episode. See my vests, see my vests. That's what. Oh God, I love my vests, Peters.
Yeah. So like, I think like modern media is lacking a good villain.
Good villain.
And it's funny that in a reality show we're getting that.
Because it's supposed to be reality.
Yeah.
Right? Reality augmented. It's a weirder, more aggressive villain. And we're seeing that now. Yeah. Still, that's a low. Going to a smaller bit of a low. I don't quite like I'm not a fan of the immunity idol.
Yes, I was. I knew you were going to say that, and I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah,
the base.
The base is like, it could have been like, the head and then the wings, or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been so badass, dude. The wings.
Last season was better. Why
course,
couldn't
yeah.
they just I don't know, man.
Yeah, but it could have been something similar to that, where like it's slotted in. You've got the head, and then the rest is like, I don't know, but I don't know. And then again,
I hope the single immunity would be better, like the necklace when it comes out for merge. That's the only thing that'll save this.
Yeah, it can be like a bird, and then the wings form the necklace.
The necklace.
But then again, we always come up with better designs.
They have to. It has to be a pelican, so it's probably gonna have like a long beak hanging.
Beak, yeah.
Yeah. So, but
they wanted a sword, but this floundered. Sorry.
The base, really?
Yeah. And then you find out that there's a clue underneath the base.
Oh, and then it'll make sense.
Don't get my hopes up, man. Don't get my hopes up.
There's a latch that opens up, and then like a piece of parchment comes out.
Oh, maybe that's what like Austin has to do. Like after
you have to finish second in the immunity challenge in order for you to get the base. And then you have to open the latch.
Cool. That would be really cool. Don't get my hopes up. It's like it was like hoping that there was gonna be like a clue or something in the chess pieces in last season, like like a really subtle hint about like, oh yeah, this was like the opening that Deep Blue played against like What's his name? Kasparov. What's his,
Kasparov.
yeah, Kasparov in Deep Blue. And like, if we look at and if we know which move this was, that's a hint to the idol. Like, I was hoping that there would be something like that, but no, alas and alack. But it would have been amazing, right? If Austin, if the second thing like Austin had to do was make sure that they get second at the immunity challenge, like he's gonna have to sandbag.
Yeah.
And those are always fun when we force people to like slow down the tribe and try to sabotage, but not sabotage all the way. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you remember it ever happening, Martin?
well, they sandbagged the challenge to vote off Russell Hands, and then they started to lose after they lost Russell Hands.
Yeah, yeah, but like there's
And then one in like, was that Pearl Islands with Russell? No, not Russell. The Rupert, the other tribe against Rupert. That's like,
No. No, but yeah, they
And-
sandbag to vote someone out. But
yeah,
this one sandbag so that you get
Or-
second place. So
Yeah.
you get the base and get the clue underneath the base.
yeah,
I
that would
don't know,
be.
man.
I mean,
that's risky business.
that specifically never happened.
Yeah.
But it always seems like you either do the challenges to win
Mm,
or you do the challenges to
to lose all the way.
Yeah,
You don't do the challenges to place second.
Yep.
yeah.
No, not really. Unless the second placer actually has a better reward. Like,
Why
we
would
don't
that
get
ever
fishing
happen?
gear, but we get Outback Steakhouse. Okay.
Why would that ever happen though? Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't think that's ever happened because usually if you get second place, it's like crappy fishing gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crappy fishing gear. You just get a net.
Mm.
No snorkels.
Or it's like here are the building tools that you need to build a shelter like Boston Rob,
Yeah.
and for second place,
You
here's
get
a
a
screwdriver.
That's true. Or just a tarp.
Yeah, right. For
Which is
comforts,
still
you
already
get
good.
you get pillows, you get hammock and all of that, and then for second place, a tarp.
Which is funny because I think one season they kind of said, I think we should have won the tarp instead because the downpour just
Because
ruined
of the
all our
rains.
pillows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Back in
but it
Samoa.
was-
Like, yeah, thinking back. Yeah, I
he was
think we
he was
kinda
just
had the
appeasing it.
wrong
He was
offer.
appeasing his tribe though. He was
Yeah,
appeasing
Russell
his tribe
Swan. Yeah.
because it was it was a choice, right? Do we get the comforts or
tarp.
do we get and like Russell Swan is the leader of the tribe was like, hey, what do you guys think? And
Mm.
everybody was like, oh, we want pillows. All right, let's
Okay.
get pillows. And,
Right.
and
Then it
You know,
rains hard.
That rains hard. Thank God he got medevac. I think he would have got blown out by the merge.
Mm.
anyway,
Anyway, anything else to add for the lows?
For me, got nothing for you aside from yeah, that idol.
I don't know if this is gonna count as a low, but it's something different. Jeff isn't like Jeff snuffed her torch.
Mm.
Jeff
Yeah, he's not
snuffed
hard on
Hannah's
the
torch.
quitter. Yeah.
He's not hard on the quitter anymore. I can understand his reasoning for it. Like, I think there are two reasons. One of them the official reason, and one of them the unofficial reason. The unofficial reason being he has a lot more say in casting now,
Yep.
Mhm.
and to sort of
That's on him.
You know,
That's on him.
right, and to sort of be angry at the quitter, that reflects poorly on him. But the official reason, and it's interesting what his official reasoning was, at least on the podcast,
Why? What did he
was
say?
that he was more of the audience surrogate at the time, that he was getting mad at the quitters, because
Mm.
nowadays, if you quit, you're gonna get an earful of you're gonna get an earful from Twitter
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
or X or whatever, Reddit. You're not gonna hear the end of it. So Jeff doesn't need to be the audience surrogate in that moment anymore, because we now have more direct
Yeah.
access to.
There's a
the
channel
player,
for audiences to actually do that. Whereas before, social media wasn't as prevalent. So He did that for the audience. Okay.
Yeah, as a way to help the audience achieve catharsis.
Mhm.
You know, but cool story, bro. Like,
Good job on your PR team.
Jeff doing the best right now. The
Yeah.
best game ever. The best.
so yeah.
Yeah, I agree on the unofficial. Like,
Yeah.
that's
The
on him. That's on you, Jeff. If you like diss on her, you're dissing on yourself. Man.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're gonna shit on the bed. You're gonna.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
not if you're like Amber Heard. Anyway, going to the next part. The predictions.
be
What
heard.
are your predictions for the next episode or episodes?
who's going to bring a bazooka to a tea party?
Well, we had Emily Mania in this episode. Emily Get in this episode. I think we're gonna go for Bruce Mania in episode 2. So I think we're gonna get it from Bruce.
Bringing an what's the title again?
A bazooka to a tea party.
Brought a bazooka to a tea party.
Ooh, so it's got to be something big.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna be like a bombshell of some kind. Like, I don't know.
Okay,
What could be a
I'll
bombshell.
do this. I'll do this. I'll pick it out of from the title. It's Tea Party. We have one guy who's particularly from Boston, so I'm gonna say
Oh,
That might be Jake. Okay.
saying that he's bringing a bazooka to a tea party.
oh, makes sense. And he's talking about like something that Bruce does.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay,
Or what
I think that's consensus.
Yeah, and then since Jake lives with his grandma, and they'd probably have tea, because dignified with grandma.
Yeah,
So he's
look
be
at-
around that world, right? Yeah. Anyway, these are all funny predictions. Anything else that you think is gonna happen in the next episode or episodes?
Mm.
I'm hoping that Brandon will get it together in the next challenge. I'm very positive he can. And like episode 1 is just a fluke. Just a fluke.
Is he going to fall on the floor again?
Maybe he will win his tribe to their first immunity win.
Wow.
Bold prediction,
Wow.
which
Okay.
may fall
Nice.
flat when we watch episode
Nice.
2. But
No,
it's still a
that's fine.
prediction.
That's the point. That's the point of
You're
these
my boy,
predictions.
Brandon. Don't fail me.
Here's your bolder prediction.
Okay.
It's not going to be because of a puzzle that he wins it for the tribe. It's going to be
It's a
because of
physical
something
challenge, right?
physical.
Physical
Yeah, that's what I'm
challenge.
thinking about too. He's gonna ace the physical challenge.
Like he's gonna beat Austin in like
Yeah.
smashing stuff while jumping off the. I don't know.
Jeff will be so inspired. He'll say, "Brandon carrying his family on his back, winning the challenge for his tribe." All the Boston Rob.
That's how you do it.
Do it.
That's like, oh, I just have to go back to that. That's getting so overused already.
That's how you do it on Survivor. No, that's how Bruce got his head injured last season.
And did you notice that as soon as Bruce was running up to that barrier, they had Jeff saying, "Keep your head down."
Oh, keep your head.
I mean, they actually had to, right? As
Yeah.
a, because that would have been an elephant in the room if
If Jeff
would've-
didn't say it.
because so much of it is like so much of it looked like the circumstances under which he got his head busted open last season, right? Like crawling under mud and all of that. So that if they hadn't said anything, that would have been like the elephant in the room. And so it's again like props to the editors for including that in there. If it
That was probably an ADR. He probably recorded it afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like that was an ADR because I'm not sure that in the moment he would have said that, knowing what Bruce had been like. Yeah, so again, like props to the editors because like that was something that I feel was needed for the episode.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's how you do it in Survivor. That's such an overuse. That's like if you guys I'm assuming that you guys have watched Community, that episode with Leroy. Was it Leroy? It was his name, Elroy. And that the wedding of Garrett and the girl that he found out was his cousin, Elroy, the
Oh.
black dude.
Season 4.
Now that is a man who can marry his own cousin.
Oh,
He's so good
Keith
at
David. Yeah.
he's so good at making white people feel good about themselves. So he's like the Brandon of Community season 6 or season 5, I think. So yeah. So it's just
talking about the Lulu tribe again. Just something that popped into mind like while I was watching with my wife last night. She had sort of the same observation as our heroes and no buffs had. Like what's it like? Caleb and Sabaya were put in a tribe with the weirdest white people ever, like the craziest white people ever.
Crazy white folks.
And yeah, that probably now that probably gave them a different impression of white people.
But you know, going to our predictions for next episode, Austin.
Go Brandon.
Austin is gonna have to find an ally for
his beware advantage.
Yeah, for his beware advantage, and I'm thinking it's gonna be like Drew.
Oh
no, it's gonna be Basile. Sorry,
Basile.
I thought it was gonna be him and Jay Maya.
No.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I actually had it pegged
that.
down that Austin is going to be found out, and he's going to be forced to share his beware advantage.
Yeah, but like, what I'm thinking is it's not going to be public knowledge. It's not going to be like knowledge, tribe knowledge, right? It's going to be like just with his close alliance, and the alliance that I can see is Austin and Basile. And what I'm hoping, for their sake, is that J Maya partners with Drew.
This is the hottest collab in Survivor history. Drop in 2023.
Because Drew is a poet, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna collab. You know, he's gonna start writing poems for J Maya.
And then Sifu's like the background dancer.
Yeah. So any other predictions?
Let's pencil this in right now. Post merge or around the merge or post merge, we're going to say that like I'm so sad that we have no Ponderosa videos because we're not going to see the collab between Drew, his poetry, and J Maya and her music, because of the long tradition of music that has gone on in Ponderosa.
Yeah.
So this is also me kind of saying that I think J Maya and Drew are gonna make the merge.
Okay. Wow. That's a prediction. Yeah. So if there are no other predictions, let's go ahead to Survivors of the Week. Who is your pick for Castaway of the Week?
This is a tough one.
It actually is. I've got
This is...
I'll go ahead and start. Mine it was a choice between Sabaya and Caleb, but because Sabaya came out with that joke of ancient aliens, I'll pick Caleb. Yeah, Caleb
Yeah.
for me is was the castaway of the week for this one. He was a source of strength for Lulu in an
Mhm.
otherwise chaotic Lulu tribe. And I think that he deserves to be the castaway of the week for this week.
For me, it can go one of two ways, right? It can either go the Caleb route,
Mm-hmm.
or it can go
Ooh,
the Hannah route,
Oh.
I see.
right? That's why it's tough for me, as outlined in the beginning of our
Mm-hmm.
uh episode here. Like, Emily is playing the role perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
and she is being edited to perfection, and she might actually win the game unless the editors are like, oh, these edgic people, they're all going to think that Emily is going to win, but surprise,
Wrong.
she doesn't,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like, it's for me, it's either it's either Emily or Caleb. It
Oh.
can go one of those two routes, but I guess we're gonna have to say Caleb, just so that we have just so that we have a consensus on the council.
Mm. How about you, Marts?
Yeah, because I was gonna say Emily because I was thoroughly entertained by her, like
Ah.
paranoia
Wow.
and her frustration about the aliens thing. I think in our group chat, what was the first thing I replied using the aliens thing? A screenshot of her doing that. Her reaction to their joke.
All right, so here's how we're going to get consensus on the council, right?
Okay.
I'm actually two people, right? I'm Jao and I'm Atienza.
Atienza.
Okay. So who's voting on Zhao's behalf and on Atienza's behalf?
But Jao likes poetry.
Okay, so you're gonna go for
No, Zhao is the guy who used to study Tai Chi, you know.
yeah.
And Atienza is the guy who listens to heavy metal
He
Heavy
just
listens to
to
metal.
sleep.
All right.
Okay, so anyway, so yeah, it's Caleb and Emily. Yeah. Let's go to goat of the week.
Emily.
Really?
What? So
I was
she's your castaway of the week and your goat of the week?
I was gonna say Brandon,
Really?
Yeah, me too, Brandon.
Oh, because of the Okay, I see.
because he
what
was
you
like
guys mean.
dragged up, right?
Yeah.
He's dragged up.
He was literally dragged up the boat, dragged over the top of the boat. Right. Oh, another high for me. I mean, it's been mentioned in all of the other podcasts.
The buffs.
The buffs. Great use of the buffs.
Oh my
Great
god,
use
the
of the
buffs are
buffs.
like,
So these are like,
oh,
yeah, these can carry the weight of people. That's cool. That's cool to know. Yeah.
They finally
Anyway.
MacGyvered the buff.
that was the true hero. That's I would like to amend my answer to Survivor of the Week.
Castaway of the week too. The buff.
The buff.
So anyway, go to the week, Brandon. Yeah, definitely. You carried this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it from me, Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Why Emily, though?
interesting, Martin. Yeah, she's your castaway and goat of the week.
I feel like, in the long term, she will be the goat for the final tribal if they keep her.
Okay.
Oh,
And she has been already, as we mentioned earlier, she was already stirring the pot in the first few minutes in the boat. So why not have her both in the awards?
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go to purple of the week.
Oof.
Red Tribe.
Yeah.
Red Tribe.
Except Vasil.
Except Vasil.
He also had Sifu, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sifu. But not there. Maybe Drew too, but not Vasil. But
yeah. But for me though, I mean, again, because it was mentioned in the podcast, the purple of the week is the immunity winner reward. Uh,
Yeah, man. That was yeah.
yeah, that would have been nice to see because it's something new. It's something new that they haven't done. I mean, we're always looking for something new that they did. I really appreciated the fact that they changed up Savvy Sweat versus Savvy versus Sweat to Savvy Sweat versus, and they changed up some of the things about the game. They still haven't changed the puzzle. It's still the Survivor Seal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having that immunity challenge winner reward and showing it to us, even though, for example, even though it didn't really in the end factor into how the episode went, it would have been nice to see that. Oh, cool! It's something that Survivor is doing this season that they haven't been doing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a footnote in the
Yeah.
history of Survivor. That's gonna be like the thing that super fans are going to be able to identify each other with,
Yeah,
like that
and
piece of knowledge.
it's like the whole. You know that Viggo Mortensen broke his toe when he kicked that helmet. For Lord of the Rings fans,
Yeah,
for Lord of the Rings super fans.
going to
Yeah,
be one of those if you know, you know sort of
yeah,
things.
yeah. So anyway, if there is nothing else, that's it for this episode of the Council of Titos. If you liked our video, hit the like button and please, please, please subscribe as well so that you get notified whenever we have new things on the channel. And for those of you who don't want to look at our mugs as we talk Survivor, you can always catch us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Council of Titos. Anyway, this has been Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon.
I'm Jal. I'm Atienza.
And I am Martin.
We hope that you can join us on the council again soon. Until then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.